Hi everyone. I forgot my presenter. My name is Ivan Markusi. I work here as an Android engineer, and in today's first talk, I'll let you know something about navigating through the Android source code. So let's imagine we have a simple application with just a couple of buttons with the red background and white text. And this is how the application looks on Android Marshmallow device on the left, and on the right, you can see how it looks on the Android Nougat version. This was after clicking on the first button. Clicking on the second button will show up a date picker dialog, which looks like this on Android Marshmallow and like that on Android Nougat. So this is a brief introduction to the presentation. Right now I'll show you how can you navigate through the source code to find out how these things internally work, so you don't have to Google all the answers or look up to Stack Overflow for every answer to your problem. So what we want to do, we want to make buttons visible like they are on the older versions of the Android platform. So to start, you press Command O on Android Studio, press Command O again to search to non-project classes. You open up the alert dialog, the one from Android app package, not the one from support, because I picked out one from Android package, but you should use the support one because it bug fixes it offers backwards compatibility and fixes all the bugs in previous versions. So the thing is, my buttons seem to be gone. I want to find out why. I open up the implementation of the alert dialog, scroll up a bit, and find a public method called setButton. Probably through this method, I can reference one of my buttons to see why it's gone. As you can see, marked in purple, it's a field in the alert dialog class, which calls a setButton method. So probably here is the root of my issue. So I press Command and left click on that field. It scrolls up to the top of the source code, and here I find a bunch of grayed and read out text. Why is that? As I downloaded the correct SDK version using the SDK manager, I attached the sources, but somehow I cannot see the whole implementation of Android. That's because to us as developers, we are offered with just a small part of the whole Android project. We have just an SDK to interact with, but Android contains a lot more. It's a bunch of implementation working with hardware, the whole base framework, the libcore, and other stuff like that. So some of you may know, you can go to GitHub or some Google open source repository. Since Android is open source, you can view the whole implementation yourself, but that can be a bit tedious. So there is a helpful tool that you can use to navigate through the source code of the Android framework. It's called the Android Xref. It's an Android open source project search engine. It is based on some other engine called OpenGrok, which enables you to navigate through all various and different repositories. So it's just a simple web page, www.androidxref.com. You open it up. On the left side, you can see all the major versions of Android. So it's on those alert dialogs and date picker dialogs weren't visible on the Nougat version. So I'm going to open up this link. You can see a bunch of input fields, and on the right side, you can see all the Google open source projects. The whole internal package, the one which provides the implementation of the alert control class with what we can get a reference of, it's in the frameworks package. So I want to open up the implementation of the alert control class. So I'm going to write in the definition input field the name of that class. It will bring up two search results. And as I said before, I'm going to open up the one from the Android app package. So here in browser, you can see the implementation of any class that's part of an internal package. So I find out a public constructor. As you can see, it has some layout, so probably all of my buttons are located over there. So I found out the alert dialog layout, so probably the file is called alert_dialog.xml. I'm going to write that in my file path. I'm going to get just one result, open it up, and that's an XML file about more than 150 lines of code. I found out there are 3 buttons, button 1, button 3, and button 2. They don't have any visibility set. They don't have any text color in the background set explicitly in this layout, so probably they share a common style. So the probable solution to my issue is to override that button bar button style and set the text color, background, and everything I want to do that. But all styles aren't a part of the framework, the base framework project. They're part of the SDK. So you can go back to Android Studio, and right now we have to find out where is that button style defined. To do that, open up the themes.xml or styles.xml or whichever XML layout resource file you're using, and just press command and left click to the parent implementations all the way until you find out where that button bar button style is really used. And after digging through more than a dozen of themes, I found out there's a theme, I don't know how it's called exactly, on Android Nougat. It uses a button bar button style defined as a button style. So I open up the styles.xml file of my project and find out that I've written a button style. That wasn't an issue on other Android versions. So I open up my style and find out that I'm using a white text color. So the thing is that my buttons weren't invisible. The thing is they just had a white background on a white text. They had a white text on a white background. So open up a UI Automator viewer and find out that that really is a button. It contains some text, but it wasn't visible due that it was a white on white. So how to fix that? I thought I just had to override the button bar button style in my app theme. Everything will fine. Everything will fine. The thing is it won't, because the alert dialog uses a different theme. And how I find that out is that when you build an alert dialog, you probably use a alert dialog builder. That's part of the SDK, and you probably don't pass any of the style resource ID. You just pass the context, and there's a private method called resolve dialog theme. Open up that theme. I found out that since you pass in 0, these are all non-zero values. You go to the else clause, and here you can see that it used the alert dialog theme, not the app theme. And that's how I find out that I just need to use the alert dialog theme and then override the button style and change the text color. And now everything works both on every Android platform version. And the issue with the date picker having different colors is that you can do this whole process yourself again on some non-Android Nougat major Android version. You will find out that the date picker dialog theme exists, and that it uses a color accent color from theme app compat lite, and on Android Nougat it uses your app theme. So to sum it all up, this was just a quick introduction to negative threaded source code. You don't have to Google all of your answers. You can use this tool to dig through Android source code, learn a bit more about Android, how stuff internally works. But keep in mind that this is just a Android open source project. Some vendors have their different implementation of Android on those devices, so you can't resolve the vendor-specific issues. It has a steep learning curve, because if you search something that doesn't exist or search for a wrong thing, you will wind up in some parts of the code that you don't really have to know about, and that's about it. Are there any questions?
How common are these issues in Android Nougat in comparison with Android Marshmallow?
The motivation for the presentation itself, it was that a client reported that buttons aren't visible and that the picker dialog theme isn't is different when picking up the dates. So it really isn't about the Android Nougat. It's about how using these tools you can find out how things internally work and how to solve a problem not just by Googling stuff, but digging through the source code yourself. Yes?
When browsing Android source, did you ever use grepcode?
No, I haven't, but this thing is based on OpenGrok. I believe that I know how grepcode really works, but here you can even browse through the history log comments. You can find out symbols, definitions, correct file paths. But I believe that that's a command line tool. So.
Which grepcode? No, it's a website that's similar to this process. I was wondering if you can compare them.
No, I haven't. Well, so check it out.
That's it.
Okay, so that.